Hey everyone. All right, gonna change this to I don't know what I want to hear. How are you guys doing today? This works. All right. So I have Divine Feminine for Mariana, Benita, and Ari in the queue. If you did not hear your name read off, use exclamation point join to join the queue. I'm going to go ahead and get started on our community read. I feel like my lights are a little bright. I just got like new lights, but I don't want to mess with them. um, all right, so we're going to get started on the community read. I'm going to be using my Cowgirls. I keep wanting to say Cowboys and Aliens so bad. Cowgirls and Aliens deck. I've been really digging that. Oh, before I do that, let's pull a Therapets card for everybody. This is oh, feel better, Ari. Ugh, summer colds are sometimes the worst. It's hard to get rid of them sometimes. All right, let's pull a card for the community. These cards are so big, but I love them. You have survived every day of your life so far. You really think today will be the one that defeats you. Ooh, glare. Let's put that over there. And then let's go ahead and let's go ahead and pull a community reading. Hey, Ruby. All right. Let's see. We have the Alien Queen. I will celebrate my successes. I feel like we got this last week. Hold on. I am gonna try to. That's the wrong way. Okay. That's a little better. It's a little bright, but not too bad. I feel like we got this card last time, but I'd love to see it again. It's just a reminder to celebrate all of your achievements, guys. Celebrate like all of the milestones you have reached. This is the blacksmith card. This says, I will take pride in I will take pride in a hard day's work. So, what have you done successfully today? What work have you put in? And not just today, today's Friday. So, this work week is behind us as we go into the weekend. What have you done successfully? What do you feel like you've done successfully? And what are you most proud of? Let's pull one more card. Yeah, when it gets this hot, you gotta truly stay on top of your water intake. Otherwise, it's really easy to get dehydrated. We have the Time Traveler. I will embrace adventure and begin something new. Ooh, so celebrate your successes, guys. Celebrate how far you've come and all of the goals you've reached. And as you go through into the weekend, I would say find some moments where you can be a little adventurous and have a good time and enjoy those moments that you have previously celebrated. So that was just a quick community read. I'm gonna go ahead and put this over here. I think no, I'll put this here. Thank you, Luke, for being my lovely moderator tonight. Welcome to the Lunar family, Patrick. Thank you for subscribing. All right. Deck is getting all shuffled while I do that. Divine Feminine, go ahead, put your question in the chat. I'm going to be using my you can't see it, but I'm going to be using my Elridge Overload deck, my cool, fun, like alien-esque cyberpunk deck. All right. All right. We could see what kind of blessings are coming your way. Happy belated birthday. Hope you had a good one. Oh, a lot of birthdays today. Luke, if you're busy with family, I totally understand. If you have to hop off. Hey, Phantom Punk, welcome over at Twitch. I have a lot of folks over here on YouTube, but happy to have you. So we have and I can never read these cards off to the side like that. We have the Nine of Cups here. We have the Page of Coins, and we have the Emperor. Ooh, looks like you have some structure finally coming into your life in a few different ways. Yeah, I'll just start in order and kind of talk about it. So I feel like if you have been struggling with uh, taking those steps to feeling emotionally fulfilled and kind of feeling a little like you've been being just tossed around a bit, I guess, feeling like you don't have really solid rootedness or groundedness, just overall lack of stability. I feel like that is going to start to come your way shortly. I think a lot of it is going to be because of this emperor here. He likes to build structure. So he's very confident in the structure that he builds around himself, and he has the ability to like pull out he identify the things that are like unnecessary, so to speak, and has the ability therefore to create that routine, create that just overall path that helps you flow forward. So on one side here we have the Nine of Cups. This is where you're starting to feel that emotional fulfillment. I like to nickname this the wishes granted card. So if you have been emotionally like putting something into a thing or like a goal or whatever, I think that you're finally going to start to feel like you are getting the results back that you are looking for. And then on in the middle here we have the Page of Coins. I like that this is in the middle of your reading. You have pentacles at the center, have that stability, that groundedness from this earth energy from the pentacles. And with the page, it indicates that there's like room for growth and overall sorry, I saw a cat. I was like, which one are you? Overall room for growth and the ability to like grow more into this emperor energy here. So it's not too realized yet, but it seems like it is going in the right direction for that. But I like the balance here between the earth and the water here. It's like when it almost indicates to me that there is some growth that's happening. So I feel like that's going to be part of the blessings that are coming your way. But ultimately, it feels like really great energy. It feels like you're finally starting to feel like you can put some roots down and feel actually grounded and stable, and that while you might not be all the way there with the page versus saying have like a King of Pentacles, for example, you're getting there and it's starting to feel like you're not going to be like tipped around and tugged around and just pulled every which way anymore. So yeah, look forward to that. I feel like I missed a few things in the chat. Thank you, Luke. Remember, save your questions. I very rarely scroll up. I just feel like I missed a few people saying hi to. So, yeah. But you're welcome, Divine Feminine. I'm glad to be like the break that you need then, Luke. All right, next up, 4. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. Let me read off who I have in the queue. So 4 is up now. I have Mariana, Benita, Ari, Phantom Punk, my lovely Twitch buddy over there, and then Krishna. So if you didn't hear your name, use exclamation point join to join the queue. So you could use exclamation point join. It is there. Use exclamation point join. Yeah, you're so welcome. Thanks for joining. Whoops, wrong one. All right, let's see what Spirit wants you to know right now for my deck's upside down. I don't generally shuffle reversals into this deck, so it was like immediately like, oh, I picked this up in the wrong direction. Okay, we have the Nine of Wands. Ooh, we're getting a lot of 9 so far. King of Swords, and we have the Three of Wands. Ooh, interesting. So I'm going to start in the middle of your reading and then kind of work outward. So I think there's some like work that's happening, and I think that with the King of Swords here, this is really telling me that you've been thinking about I would say probably internalizing the things that you are really inspired by or really inspiring you right now, and really starting to spark a little bit of passion within you. And the King of Swords specifically, he's very cerebral, very much the type that wants to think things through and is really, really good at logistically planning things out and putting the pieces of his domain together. So on one side, we have the Nine of Wands, right? So the Nine of Wands, the king, is really someone who understands that he needs to be a little resilient through times when things aren't necessarily, using my puzzle analogy, when things aren't quite fitting together. So I think that with the Nine of Wands, it's just like being able to be patient and puzzle some things out when they don't quite fit, but you might start seeing them shape up and kind of form into what you're looking for, and you can see that it's going in the right direction. Just the kings, they have the confidence and knowledge to know, just stick with things and when to stick with things, right? And identify the things that they need to work very hard on in order to get them to that final goal, of whatever that final goal is. On the flip side here, this is where the king is planning out things. So here you kind of have some things that are already in work and things that you're kind of shaping up and kind of getting to the point that it can fit into what it is you're working on. Sorry, main camera. On the flip side here, this is where you plan out some other things and you can start to figure out the lonely air card between 2 fire cards. I love that, Ruby. That is definitely how I felt having to deal with the humidity and stuff down in Florida this past week. So the king is planning out how his domain is going to look. So for you, I feel like Spirit is asking you, like, what do you want things to look like in the future, right? You have some things that are working for you now, some things that you might be working resiliently to finalize and put together, but ultimately, what is it that you want things to look like? How are you making the right moves to make them look like, or like what you want them to look like? And the Three of Wands is saying, plan it out. Really, like, and maybe do so more deliberately than you have with this King of Swords. So, like, if before you've kind of just gone with the flow, or things just kind of got tossed to you and you kind of took it and ran, this one is saying be more deliberate and take what's thrown at you if it works, but if not, shape what it is and plan out what it is for the future. So, yeah, I think that this is kind of saying like you have a little bit of control, but also a little onus on what your future looks like, and be a little more deliberate and a little bit more logical about the next steps that you take as you go to the future. But it's nice. Ruby's right. You have the fire with the air in the center, so it's very fueling. It's very supportive energy overall. I will warn that sometimes it can be a little combustive, so be careful not to fall into the traps of like the kings in reverse that get a little too in their own heads and start to manipulate situations in a way that doesn't work for them. So otherwise, though, I think that Spirit sees you working hard and wants you to plan your future accordingly. You're welcome. You're welcome for. Alrighty, Mariana, you are up next. No, Luke is not a bot. He just has to repeat himself a lot every single week because people can't read. Unless you meant Lucas Luke. I'm not sure which Luke you're talking about. All right, let's see. I'm gonna have to switch my deck up, and I'm not sure what I'm feeling. Or not this live, but eventually. What? I did something stupid. Okay. I shuffled in reversals by mistake. It's fine. Oh, we have our King of Swords back. So we have I think this is the 10 of Pentacles. Yep, 10 of Pentacles. We have the Page of Swords and the King of Swords. So we have 2 air cards here, and then we have Earth here. So right now, Mariana, I think you're struggling with truly achieving a groundedness in your life. I think you just have a lack of stability that you're having a hard time getting out of that cycle, and I feel like you get close to it, but it just doesn't stick for some reason, or you just don't get all the way there to that point. I think there's a little bit of growing that has to happen. So we have the Page and the King of Swords. Swords in general are about like that internalized energy, your inner thoughts. So I think that it's about shaping how you see things, your perspective of things, shaping how you view yourself, view the situations that you're in. It's all about reshaping your perspective. And I think the Page struggles the most. They want to learn, they're eager, they're the more youthful of the court cards. So they're less experienced in doing so. So I think that this signifies that if you're looking to find that stability, you really need to deliberately practice it and study it and recognize what works and doesn't work for you. So and also when you're starting to like lose grasp of it, what triggers that? So that way when you go through it again in the future, because life is a cycle, right? So you go through it once, you're probably going to go through it again. You have the ability to recognize when to pivot, how to adapt, how to adjust, those kinds of things. So I mentioned before, the King of Swords, very, very cerebral. The Page of Swords is very thoughtful, but more so from a studious perspective, whereas the King is more so deliberate. Um, it doesn't need to learn to do things anymore. It just understands and applies them. So I think that's where you have to get to in order to write this Pentacles energy. Remember, guys, if you would like a more detailed reading, you can use my tip link if you'd like to skip the queue. Alrighty, Benita, you are up next. You're welcome, Mariana. I have to fix my deck real quick. Well, are you guys doing anything fun this weekend? I think it's the Lionsgate portal, isn't it? 8/8. I should have done a community read for the Lionsgate portal. Oh well. Oh wow, I shuffled like all of these. I think I just picked up the deck halfway upside down. Oh goodness. I take 1 week off and I'm a mess. Did you guys do anything interesting for the Lionsgate portal, or while I get my deck up right, or anything? I haven't been paying that close attention, unfortunately. And to travel for work, so blase, live vicariously through y'all. Okay, did I get them? I don't know how I messed this up so badly. Goodness gracious. All right. I see your question, Benita. Thank you. All right, got it. Now I can shuffle properly. It's okay. I think I got it. Worked itself out. All right, let's see what is next for you. Last card. Here we go. There we go. All right, you have the Three of Cups, the Four of Wands, and then we have the Sun card. Oh, so actually looks kind of exciting. I feel like either you're gonna meet someone through your friend circle or your friends set you up with someone. Kind of feels more of the friends set you up with someone kind of vibe. Whether you're into like you forgot about it too. I didn't think about it until like an hour ago, maybe, Ruby. So I think that your friends are gonna set you up with someone. And the Four of Wands being at the center of the reading really like indicates like just overall celebration, really good vibes. So I really feel like that's gonna actually I feel like that's actually really gonna be something the entire group celebrates. So like I don't know that this person's necessarily going to be part of the friend group, but I think that they're going to fit in really well with the friend group, like as a whole. And it's really just going to be really great energy. And then we have the sun card here at the end, which is just ultimately a very, very happy card in tarot. The sun is very warm and giving and just the catalyst for growth in life, right? So I really feel like something is really going to blossom out of this. So it feels a little like maybe blind date-ish, or just someone that you kind of already knew of, and like a friend or some friends push you all together, and kind of goes from there. But I would say that this feels not a long time from now, but not like tomorrow. Is like maybe give it like a month or two, a few months. Cups are not the fastest moving energy, so I feel like it's not something that's right around the corner, but it's not something that's going to be like years from now either. So yeah. All right. Alrighty, Ari, you are up next. And then I have Phantom Punk, Krishna, Random, Ravi, Lucas Luke, to differentiate my Lukes, and Soul Child. Welcome, Soul Child. You're welcome, Benita. Ruby, I don't actually know like the hours and explicit timing. This is the stuff that I need Sel for. She does all my astrology stuff. That leans a little too third party. Whatever their reasons for doing that are their own reasons. You can either ask them or just sorry. I don't know. Phantom Punk, are you still hanging out over on Twitch? Might be. I don't know. You can ask another question, Ari. You have like 2 or 3 people ahead of you, Random. I promise I will call your name like I do everyone else. Yeah, people are so immature nowadays. It just like ghost people. It's kind of, yeah. Do you have another question, Ari? Oh yeah, don't forget to like this video, guys. Helps with the algorithm. No, it's just too third party for me. I'm not gonna read why other people do things. So they're not here to be part of that. So there's really we don't get any benefit out of it. I don't get any benefit out of it. Happy to ask something else though. did not shuffle all the way. Soul Child, the ghosting is interesting. I feel like I don't know. It's like of the times or something. I don't even think it's generational. I think it's just like people after COVID became feral and don't know how to be human beings anymore or treat each other. It's very strange behavior. So let me clarify what a third party reading is. I'm not going to read about anybody else's intentions, thoughts, actions, nothing like that. If they are not here to consent to the reading, I'm not going to read about it. I can read on what made things fall apart, though. I can totally do that. But I'm not going to confirm or deny why Chris did whatever he did. I mean, it might come up in that, and I'm cool with that. Like, if you're cool with that, I can do that. But no worries. This is actually fine. You might be involved, but you're not the subject of the reading, I guess, is really the difference. I think some people also like consider third party like, oh yeah, some people use that term too. I've noticed two different definitions for that term as I've watched other people's lives. All right. Ooh, repeat. Okay. Let's see what made things fall apart. Alrighty. Oh, can't read that one. 10 of Coins, Judgment, and the 2 of Cups. I think it was just a misalignment of things. So 10 of Coins really has that like long-term Luke's for president. That's hilarious. Really has that long-term end goals, kind of gonna be a family type thing. 2 of Cups is generally fresh relationships. Sometimes it can be a little superficial if there aren't the right things around it to build it up. And I think with Judgment splitting the cards, it just indicates that, like, I think just realized the relationship wasn't exactly how do I put it? Y'all might just not be wanting the same things out of the relationship. What Chris wanted specifically versus what you want specifically. I just don't think it could have lined up, but I just don't think it was perceived as lining up. So Judgment is usually the card right before you get to the World card in the majors, and you start to realize and understand things much more clearly, and you start to really, it's like that aha moment where things start to click into place and make sense. And I think that just splitting these, realize like, okay, yeah, there is that emotional connection with the 2 of Cups, but it's disconnected from the like long-term stability and unit building that you get with the 10 of Coins. So just splitting that makes it feel like overall there was a disconnect, and that's kind of what made things fall apart. And I think it's really, I think what I should clarify too, it's a perceived disconnect. Whether it is true or not, to be said, right? But um I don't know if you guys talked about it or not, like y'all's goals and alignments and stuff like that, and if like yeah, it it sounds almost like, you know, you were like in it for you're looking for like the long haul, just because I know I've read for you before, like you're looking for this 10 of pentacles moment. And I think that perhaps Chris was on the other side of this judgment card here, and you just were not vibing in the right ways. Yeah, I think that there's like that, like tarot side, just people are, I don't know why people do that. Oh, we did it. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. It just, it doesn't really excuse the behavior of not being adult enough to like talk about when things are not working right. That's the silly thing about it all. All right, Phantom Punk, go ahead, put your question in the chat. And then I have, after Phantom, I have Krishna, Random, Ravi, Lucas, Soulchild, and Hatsan. Hi, Hatsan. I agree. I think some people just need like to be spoon fed, and then they have the nerve to complain about poor communication. I'm like, bro, you're the poor communication. Oh, that's childish. Oh yeah, seriously, that's not that's not adult behavior. Krishna, go ahead, put your question in the chat. But I agree, that's definitely not your loss then. If someone's gonna act like that. Oh yeah. Sounds like this person is not worth really anyone's time. That's like high school, not even, barely high school behavior. Who is, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher the name. No Frianza? Who is that? Yeah, you would think like someone in their mid-20s. Okay, Krishna. I don't do third-party readings, so however his relationship is with his girlfriend is his business. If you have another question, I'll happily do that. Whew, okay, Streamlabs. A lot of comments there. Sorry to hear that. If you have another question, I'll read that for you. Streamlabs is indeed the bot, Luke. Yeah, I feel like it's really good to be direct, right? Or as direct as possible. Like, you don't have to give everybody like your life story or something like that. But at least communicate. It's just crazy how people struggle with that. All right, let me read who I have in the queue. Up now is Krishna. Then I have Random, Ravi, Lucas Luke, Soulchild, and Hot Sun. Thanks for confirming, Ravi. All right, let's see. Krishna, let's see what your... Whoop. Oh no. I was wondering where Luna went off to. She is laying under the desk. All right, let's try this again. You have the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and then the Five of Cups. So, I feel like you have, with the aces here, you definitely have something new coming into your life. It's the Five of Cups that worries me a little bit. And the reason for that is that while you might have these new things, these new journeys, these new people that are coming your way, I think that if you don't open yourself up to receiving them, you might miss the opportunity. The Five of Cups really is about how dealing with your emotional distress is it's the wrong context. Just dealing with your emotional baggage, I'll call it. And in carrying it around, you tend to focus on the wrong things. You tend to focus on the negatives. And sometimes you can have your back to things that are really, really good for you, which in this case might be this combo of Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. Start of a new relationship, start of a new perspective. There's also this element of success that might struggle to be washed out with the Five of Cups. So what I think, and my advice based off of what I'm seeing here in the cards, would be to find ways to reframe or handle how you're dealing with things emotionally that are weighing you down, because if you're too focused on them, um, and you miss out on those opportunities, you might realize too late, and that door might be closed to you. So uh, you want to avoid that happening. A lot of times, what I say is find ways to flip this energy the other way. How can you work on releasing that any emotional baggage that you're carrying with you? How can you work on putting it behind you? Um, and making it so it's not quite so upfront and center when it comes to opening yourself up emotionally. So that way you don't miss out on these opportunities. Really, Luke? I don't think I even have bad words like flagged on here. Random, you are up next. You're welcome, Krishna. Thanks for being patient. Then I have Ravi, Lucas, Soul Child, and Hot Sun. I'm going to go ahead and close the queue. Everybody who is in it is in, so don't freak out. Exactly, Ruby. Don't let that be a roadblock. Did you change your name slightly, Ruby? Ruby, Retrograde, Tarot, and Day? Or is it just showing up shortened on my end? I'm gonna reframe that a little. I'll just see what the situation is between y'all, and if it looks like a reunion, I'll see if I can kind of glean that. I don't really like to do yes or no's with tarot. It's not quite fitting. Whoop. One more card. Here we go. All right, we have Judgment. We had a lot of repeats tonight. Judgment, the Three of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. Yeah, no problem. So I think that there definitely was some realization that happened with you guys. The Judgment card popping up is really indicative of that. Okay, it must just be popping up weird then on my end, Ruby, or I just have a horrible memory, which both could be true. So I think with Judgment, I think this is really saying there is a better and clearer understanding of you guys together, your relationship, and perhaps if you guys travel in the same social circles, like have the same friends and stuff, perhaps your friends are a part of that and have been kind of helping shape that a little bit. But I think that together it feels very much like it very much feels like a friend is kind of helping out with mediating a little bit, or not mediating. It's more like being a sounding board that is allowing you guys to really understand better your sides of the relationship and then the relationship as a whole. And then over here with the Knight of Swords, this is, I think this paired with the Judgment is really what makes me feel like there could possibly be a reunion coming up. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna happen like tomorrow, right? For example, I think there are some things that have to happen first, but the Knights are ambitious. So what that says to me is if you guys get to a point in your understanding of things, your desire and willingness to reconcile, I really see that there will be a strong push to reconnect and get back, like, and I don't want to say get back together, but at least reset in a kind of way. The Knight of Swords can be a little on the impulsive side, so be careful about like just blindly rushing into things or blindly being pulled into things as well. You know, it's a push and pull sometimes when it comes to relationships. So just be a little careful about that. But I think having a, especially a neutral third party, having a neutral person um to reflect to and to get advice from is really going to be helpful in all of this, and making sure that they are someone who, and when I say neutral, they could be friends to both of y'all. I just mean like someone who isn't like strongly opinionated one way or another and unintentionally misguiding you. But I I like the Knight of Swords popping up here just because there is a lot of action in that card, so a lot of movement in the knights. And like I was saying, when a knight has like a goal, they're willing to push towards it. Um, hmm. But yeah, I do think so. I guess what I'll, to go back to your original question about if there will be a reunion, I think that it is possible. It's just you have to take the right steps to get there. And I think the right steps involve, um, you know, having that person help you guys uh, gain a better understanding of your actual positions in the relationship, understanding and reflecting on the relationship as a whole, and being able to um, reconnect under the right circumstances versus, for instance, like false pretenses or without any clarity, that kind of thing. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I think that having that Judgment card is really a great sign that, you know, Judgment card paired with this Three of Cups here is really a great sign that things are starting to make sense and starting to see how things were. And the threes in general, it's just about a sense of community. So I think that that also really supports the idea that there's room for a reunion in the future if you put the right foot forward and you put the right work in. You just have to be willing to do those things, and not just you, like both of y'all have to be willing uh to do that. That's why I think the friend or neutral party can really help with that, because I feel like people have like a clearer perspective. Maybe a little bit of melatonin for the kids will help you out, Luke. All right, let's see what new is coming your way, Robbie. You're welcome, random. All right, so you have the Chariot, the Four of Cups, and the Lovers. You have two major arcana here, so I feel like impactful things are coming your way. In the center here, you have the Four of Cups. Generally, this is indicative that even though things might be coming your way, you might not be receptive to them. That could manifest in a few different ways. It could be right thing, wrong time kind of thing. It could just be that it is the right time, but you haven't opened yourself up in the right ways to receive the things that you're looking for. Ravi, I almost never go. I'll be realist. Like, I'll be real with you. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do timestamps, unfortunately. I might figure it out in the future, but today's not the day. So just keep that in mind. Like, if you've been a little apathetic towards things and you haven't really been opening yourself up emotionally to things, then I don't think much is gonna get through. But you have the chariot, which is a lot of movement and energy around you. So I think things are coming in and out and, just cycling in and out. And you have the opportunity to catch on to no, Luke, I think they're talking about like YouTube timestamps. I'll figure it out one day. I mean, I know how to do timestamps, but I've never done it with the lives. So the chariot is like saying, yeah, you're gonna move forward and things are gonna go, but there's also that sort of like, but at what cost kind of thing. So like, if you are going forward and just kind of forging ahead, but it's directionless, that's a little bit of a warning there. And I think that's mirrored here in the Lovers. Really indicates like the Lovers card is really about feeling emotionally at a crossroads. Like you aren't sure which direction to go. So if you're just driving aimlessly, then you're going to miss out on the right turns and the right pit stops and the right off ramp, so to speak, to use highway terms. But I think that if I'm looking at this, one of the things I will say is like to allow yourself to open up more. And even though things might be changing very quickly around you, you don't have to rush through things. You can kind of take a breather and decide the right things for you. And I think that's really going to be your roadblock, is really ultimately making decisions, deciding what do you even want to come into your life, right? What are the new things that you would like to see come your way? And once you get an idea of that, you could start to shape those things, whether it be like if you're into more of the witchy side of things and manifestations and spells, you could do that. Or if it's more so on the like law of attraction kind of side of things, where you are doing the more like affirmations thing or vision boarding, whatever that looks like for you. I just think that there's a deliberateness that has to happen in order to open yourself up to even receiving those possibilities. And then once you open yourself up, you have to be very deliberate about the steps and the steps and the turns that you take along that path. So I think that what I'll say is, to sum this all up, is you do have things coming in. You just have to be receptive to them, and you have to be making the right decisions, right? Like, don't just go ahead and accept anything coming into your life just because it's something. But generally, what I like to say to people is, if you reflect on your question, when you think of something new that's coming in, what is it that you picture? What's the thing that you picture? And start to shape that. And that's going to be part of your decision making and your path building. I don't know how I keep shuffling reversals into this. I'm like losing my mind today. Okay. I think I'm putting them into the deck wrong. You're welcome, Ravi. Alrighty, Lucas, you are up next. Then I have Soul Child, and I will finish off strong with Hot Sun. Lucas, I'm hesitant. Have you seen a doctor about it? If not, then I'm hesitant to do that. Yeah, Lucinda, you can catch me next Friday. I will be back 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And does the doctor think it's something more mental or okay, it's not physical. Okay. All right. That's definitely what I was looking for. Let's see. I do recommend seeing someone like a psychologist or whatever, psychiatrist. I don't know the difference. As well, don't rely on cards because mental health is still health. So, but I can at least give you something to reflect on and we can see someplace to start. All right, so we have the 5 of coins, the three of coins, and the 7 of swords. So the sorry. Oh my gosh. My nose is so itchy. I was thinking, I feel like there's a lot of, I was gonna turn this around. I am gonna go ahead and just turn that around. So I'll just go in order. With the 5 of coins is I kind of think this leans back into what I was alluding to when I was pulling your cards about, getting the mental health help that you need from the right people. The 5 of coins is coins in general can reflect health. It doesn't have to. Can reflect a few things, just the physical world around us. But the 5 of coins specifically is about feeling down and out and like there's really no Sugar Plum, sorry, you missed me this week. I will be back next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Feel free to hang out though if you'd like to listen to some readings. 5 of coins is about feeling like you're down and out, but not recognizing that help is available. So it really is feeling like you don't have the stability around you. You don't have the, like, for instance, the good health that you need, or it can represent finances, blah, 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 stuff like that. But ultimately, the main theme about the 5 of Cups is just not necessarily recognizing where to get help, how to get help, or who to get help from, and, some sort of combination of all of that. And I think that it's maybe not necessarily with any one group of people, right? And I think that this is going to be a situation that's going to require you to work with a few different people on. But which is what I see here in the 3 of coins. But I think that a lot, obviously with the swords, I think I mentioned earlier, swords are very internal. I think that a lot of it stems from maybe um, lack of trust with yourself, and it has become like a little bit of a cycle where, you know, when you think about something too hard and then you end up doing it and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do it again, but you think about it too hard again and then you keep doing that thing. That's kind of what the seven of swords feels like, where you feel like, all right, your body has betrayed you in some kind of way and you're going to figure something out and do something else, and it ends up not working and you end up in this little bit of a cycle where you feel like nothing you do, your body is going to betray you in some kind of way. And I'm going to caveat, like I said, I am not a health professional. This is definitely something you need to work out with someone who has the right degrees, whoever that might be. But I do think that a lot of this stems from not being able to break that cycle mentally. And it is now manifesting physically as you described. But yeah, Hot Sun, that's a interesting point. I'm sure there's something that exists out there. Lucas, I didn't really ask that, but I would say with Pentacles here, this whole combo, I won't say solved, but I think that if you, I'm honestly hesitant to answer that. I don't want to say that it would be solved soon. It's a little presumptuous because the Pentacles are not quick energy at all, but that doesn't mean that you can't start managing things soon. It doesn't mean that you're not going to start to finally figure out like what the triggers are and being able to start to work on things. That part I couldn't tell you. That would be a little more nuanced. Alrighty, Soul Child, you are up next. Yeah, Hot Sun, it's so crazy, like how like our bodies can just be fine and then suddenly like be doing the weirdest thing. It depends, Ruby. As a Taurus, I'm a Pentacles girly. I'm slow and steady wins the race kind of girl, but it definitely depends because I'm also impatient. I know, it's so crazy how the human body just like can turn something completely non-physical into something that manifests physically on us. Alrighty, Hot Sun, let's finish off strong with you. Let me know what your question is. Yeah. Whew. Hi, Sierra. My queue's actually closed for the night, but I'll be back next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Alrighty, Hot Sun, let's see what's going on with y'all's connection. All right, we have the Seven of Coins, Page of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. Our first Queen of the Night. Um, so I'm gonna describe who I think people are. But I'm just kind of off the bat making the intuitive assumption that E is the being represented as the Page of Cups here, and you are probably more represented in the Queen of Swords. If I have that backwards, let me know. Either way, we have the Seven of Coins. I don't really like that in oh yeah, hi Latoya. I am done for the night, just finishing up my last reading. I will be back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. Seven of Coins kind of represents like hard work, but persevering through hard work. And it's sometimes I don't there's nothing inherently here that makes this bad. Just sometimes with relationships, especially if they are new, like why are you already persevering? Why is it already hard work, right? Like there should be sort of like the enjoyment phase of things and then building. So it gives me a little bit of pause in that, but that it's not inherently a bad thing. So the parts that this mirrors that gives me a little bit of pause here are with this this Page of Cups here. I mentioned before, pages are the youthful of the court cards. They're really the ones that are still growing and learning about themselves. And the Page of Cups, while in some situations can be really great because there's someone who's eager to learn about themselves emotionally and, you know, really very much a dreamer and just wants to emotionally invest in things. You have to kind of be on that same page. And in this case, it feels very much like they are learning about themselves, maybe a little bit childish in that regard, and therefore is just overall a little less mature in the situation and in the connection. And while it might seem a little fun, it could be a little much very quickly. Hey Phantom Punk, sorry, we missed each other, so I moved on in the queue. I didn't see your chat if you chatted me. So sorry about that. So with that being said, we have the Queen of Swords, who is kind of like the opposite. Queens had the no worries, I understand, it happens. Queens are much more mature. They mirror the kings in their maturity, much more emotionally attuned, just in general. The Queen of Swords specifically, not only is she emotionally in tune, she is also very perceptive and understanding, very thoughtful. And I just don't know if those energies match, you know, just even visually here, kind of going off in different directions. I don't think that there's anything inherently malicious or bad. I just think that maybe this is meant to be a little bit more of a superficial connection, maybe more short-term, fun times, less long-term kind of thing. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. Some people are okay with that, and that's really all they're looking for at the moment. So you just have to decide if that aligns with what it is that you're looking for. There's also like overall with the Queen of Swords in general, like this desire for complexity, this need for complexity, because she's someone who is not only emotionally in tune, she's just also generally very intelligent, very much one who is who values communication and being able to communicate effectively. And I just don't know that the Page of Cups is able to do that to that degree. Now, they might be someone, if you're willing to build with more, if this is not something that is really, the end of the world for you. Like I said, I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with that. I think it's up to you to decide, what's important for a relationship, what you're looking for right now. If this meets your needs for now, then I would say then you kind of have a really nice overall energy, just maybe a little disconnected. And if it's a relationship that you're cool with having a bit more independence, then I think that this kind of fits that bill. But again, it depends what you want. But I will say, like, obviously it's what you want, but yeah, I think that if you're okay with being friends, I definitely think that this probably goes away. This perseverance and putting in a lot of hard work. It's like a whole different billywig in that regard. But I think too, like, being friends is I think you guys would be fine friends. I think sometimes y'all might just butt heads a little bit. But I don't I mean, if you can't argue with your friends, who can you argue with, right? Alrighty, guys. I am gonna get off of here. Oh yeah. It sounds like he has his own baggage that he has to deal with, and it might manifest in a little bit of childish behavior. Definitely not something you probably want to take on. But friendship, totally. You're very welcome, Hot Sun. Thanks for hanging out in the chat tonight and chatting and being present. Appreciate it. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to enjoy some couch time with the Space Cadets, and I'll see you next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alrighty. Bye, y'all.